What if I told you there is a simple, natural powder that you place under your tongue before bed, and by the time you wake up, your body has already begun restoring circulation you thought was gone for good? I know how that sounds, but stay with me because this is not some internet gimmick. This is grounded in published cardiovascular research, and it is changing the lives of men well into their 70s and beyond. If you have been noticing that your hands and feet are colder than they used to be, that your energy crashes in the afternoon no matter how much sleep you get, that your performance in the bedroom has quietly declined year after year, or that wounds and bruises seem to take forever to heal, then what I am about to share with you today may be the most important video you watch this year, because all of those symptoms point to the same root issue. And it is an issue that most doctors never test for. Most men never think about. And yet it silently controls almost everything about how you feel, how you function, and how you age. I am Dr. Fiona Gray, a board-certified urologist with over 12 years of clinical experience helping men over 60 reclaim their vitality, their strength, and their confidence. I have worked with thousands of men who walked into my office convinced that feeling tired, sluggish, and diminished was simply the price of getting older. And I have watched many of those same men walk out weeks later feeling like they turned back the clock by a decade. Not because of some miracle, because of science that most people simply have not been told about yet. Before we dive into this, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button right now and drop a comment below telling me where you are watching from today. I read those comments and I love connecting with men from all over the world who are serious about their health. Your engagement also helps this video reach other men who desperately need this information. Now, let us get into it. Here's the brutal truth about blood flow that nobody explains to men over 50. Starting around your mid-40s, your body begins producing significantly less of a molecule called nitric oxide. Now, you may have heard that term before, but most men do not understand just how critical this molecule is. Nitric oxide is the master signaling molecule for your entire vascular system. It is what tells your blood vessels to relax and open wide so that oxygen-rich blood can reach every organ, every muscle, every tissue in your body. Think of it like this. Your blood vessels are a network of highways. Nitric oxide is the traffic controller that keeps every lane open and flowing smoothly. When nitric oxide levels are high, blood moves freely. Your heart works efficiently, your brain gets the oxygen it needs for sharp thinking, your muscles recover quickly, and yes, the blood flow that supports healthy erections functions the way it should. But here's what happens when nitric oxide drops. And it drops by roughly 12% per decade after 40. Those highways start to narrow. Traffic backs up. Organs that depend on strong circulation begin to starve for oxygen and nutrients. Your heart has to pump harder to push blood through tighter vessels, which raises your blood pressure. Your brain gets less fuel, so you experience fog, forgetfulness, and fatigue. Your extremities get cold because blood is being rationed to your vital organs first. And the smaller blood vessels, the ones responsible for erectile function, are the first to suffer because they are the narrowest and most sensitive to changes in nitric oxide. This is why erectile difficulty is often the earliest warning sign of cardiovascular problems. It is not a separate issue. It is the same issue showing up first where the vessels are smallest. Now here is the part that should concern every man listening. Most doctors will treat each of these symptoms individually. A pill for blood pressure, a pill for cholesterol, a pill for erectile dysfunction. But they rarely address the upstream cause, which is your body's declining ability to produce nitric oxide. That is what we are going to fix today. And the tool we are going to use has been hiding in plain sight. The powder I am talking about is L-citrulline. Not L-arginine, which is what most people have heard of, L-citrulline. And the distinction matters enormously, which I will explain in a moment. L-citrulline is a naturally occurring amino acid found in high concentrations in watermelon rind. And when you place it under your tongue in powder form before bed, it bypasses your digestive system's first-pass metabolism enters your bloodstream more efficiently, and your body converts it into L-arginine and then into nitric oxide over the course of several hours while you sleep. By morning, your blood vessels have been gently dilating all night long. Let me walk you through the 7 specific ways this changes your health, and pay close attention to number 5, because that is the one that surprises my patients the most. Benefit number 1, restored erectile quality and firmness. Let us start with the one most men care about first, and rightfully so, because it is directly tied to your confidence and your relationships. Erections depend entirely on blood flow. When you become aroused, your brain sends a signal that triggers nitric oxide release in the penile arteries. That nitric oxide causes the smooth muscle in the erectile tissue to relax, allowing blood to rush in and create firmness. When nitric oxide levels are low, that process is compromised. The signal is sent, but the response is weak or incomplete. L-citrulline, taken consistently, has been shown in clinical studies to significantly improve erection hardness scores in men with mild to moderate erectile difficulty. A study published in the journal Urology found that men taking L-citrulline reported improved firmness and satisfaction compared to placebo, with no significant side effects. What this means emotionally is profound. I had a patient named Robert, 67 years old, a retired firefighter. Robert told me he had not initiated intimacy with his wife in over 2 years because the fear of failure was worse than the loneliness of avoidance. After 6 weeks of sublingual L-citrulline before bed, combined with some simple lifestyle changes we discussed, Robert came back and told me, "Doc, my wife asked me what I have been taking because she says I am acting like the man she married." That is what restoring blood flow can do. It does not just change your body, it changes your marriage. For the practical step here, the effective dose in most studies is 3 to 6 grams of L-citrulline powder daily. I recommend starting with 3 grams placed under the tongue about 30 minutes before sleep. Hold it for 60 to 90 seconds to allow sublingual absorption, then swallow the remainder with water. Benefit number 2, measurably lower blood pressure. High blood pressure is called the silent killer for a reason. It damages your blood vessels from the inside out, and most men do not feel it happening until the damage is severe. When nitric oxide levels increase, your blood vessels relax and widen, which directly reduces the pressure your heart has to generate. A meta-analysis of multiple randomized controlled trials found that L-citrulline supplementation reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 4 to 6 points and diastolic by 2 to 3 points. Now, 4 to 6 points might not sound dramatic, but in cardiovascular medicine, that reduction is associated with a meaningful decrease in heart attack and stroke risk. I think about a patient named Howard, 73, who was on 2 blood pressure medications and still not at his target numbers. After adding L-citrulline to his nightly routine, his cardiologist was able to reduce one of his medications at the 3-month follow-up. Howard told me, "I feel like my body is finally working with me instead of against me." That sense of partnership with your own body, that is what men over 60 deserve to feel. Benefit number 3, dramatically improved exercise performance and recovery. This one matters whether you are a dedicated gym goer or you simply want to keep up with your grandchildren. When blood flow improves, your muscles receive more oxygen during activity and clear metabolic waste products like lactate more efficiently afterward. Research published in the European Journal of Applied Physiology showed that L-citrulline supplementation increased time to exhaustion during exercise by over 12% and reduced post-exercise muscle soreness by up to 40%. Emotionally, what this translates to is independence. I see too many men in their 60s and 70s who have quietly stopped doing things they love, whether it is golf, hiking, woodworking, or simply walking through a park with their partner, because they run out of energy or their muscles ache for days afterward. Reclaiming that physical capacity is not vanity, it is dignity. It is the freedom to live your life on your own terms. Benefit number 4, sharper mental clarity, and reduced brain fog. Your brain consumes roughly 20% of your body's oxygen supply, despite being only 2% of your body weight. It is the most blood flow-dependent organ you have. When nitric oxide levels decline and cerebral blood flow decreases, the result is that foggy, sluggish feeling that so many men describe to me. Forgetting why you walked into a room, struggling to find the right word in conversation, feeling mentally slow in the afternoon. Research from the American Journal of Hypertension demonstrated that improving nitric oxide availability was associated with better cognitive function in older adults, particularly in areas of processing speed and memory recall. I had a patient, Martin, 61, an accountant who was terrified that his increasing forgetfulness meant early dementia. After 8 weeks of consistent L-citrulline use, Martin told me, "It is like someone cleaned the windshield. I did not even realize how foggy everything had gotten until the fog lifted." For the practical piece, taking your dose at night is particularly effective for brain health because your brain does critical repair and consolidation work during deep sleep, and enhanced blood flow during those hours supports that process. Benefit number 5, and this is the one most men never expect: improved mood, reduced irritability, and better emotional regulation. Now, I told you this one would surprise you. Most men associate blood flow with physical outcomes, but here is what the research shows. Nitric oxide plays a direct role in neurotransmitter signaling, including the pathways that regulate serotonin and dopamine. When blood flow to the brain is chronically reduced, it does not just affect your thinking, it affects your mood. That short temper that seems worse than it used to be, that low-grade frustration that sits in your chest all day, that sense that life has lost some of its color. These are not just emotional issues, they are often vascular issues. When circulation to the brain improves, many of my patients report that they feel more patient, more optimistic, and more like themselves. One patient, Douglas, 69, told me, "My wife noticed before I did. She said I was laughing again. I had not realized I had stopped." Gentlemen, that stopped me in my tracks, because so many men are living in a diminished emotional state and blaming it on aging when their brain is simply not getting the blood supply it needs. Benefit number 6, faster wound healing and better skin health. This is the benefit that older men tend to notice in everyday life first. When you cut yourself shaving and it takes a week to heal. When a bruise lingers for weeks. When your skin looks dull and thin. All of these are signs of impaired microcirculation, the flow of blood through your smallest capillaries. L-citrulline supports the health of these tiny vessels by maintaining nitric oxide levels in the endothelial cells that line them. Improved microcirculation means nutrients and immune cells reach damaged tissue faster. It means collagen production is better supported. It means your skin receives the oxygen it needs to maintain elasticity and tone. The practical application here is straightforward. Consistency matters more than dose. 3 grams nightly, every night, is more effective than 6 grams taken sporadically. Your body builds nitric oxide capacity over time. Benefit number 7, deeper, more restorative sleep. And this is why the timing of taking this powder at night matters so much. Quality sleep depends on your body's ability to shift into parasympathetic mode, the rest and restore state. Nitric oxide plays a key role in that transition by promoting vasodilation and reducing sympathetic nervous system activation. Many of my patients who start taking L-citrulline sublingually before bed report that they fall asleep faster, sleep more deeply, and wake up feeling genuinely rested for the first time in years. And better sleep cascades into everything else. Better testosterone production happens during deep sleep. Better growth hormone release. Better immune function, better mood. It creates a virtuous cycle where each benefit amplifies the others. Now, I promised I would explain why L-citrulline and not L-arginine. This is important. Most people assume that since nitric oxide is made from L-arginine, you should supplement with L-arginine directly. But there is a problem. When you take L-arginine orally, a large percentage of it is broken down by an enzyme called arginase in your gut and liver before it ever reaches your bloodstream. This is called first-pass metabolism, and it dramatically reduces how much arginine is actually available to make nitric oxide. L-citrulline, on the other hand, bypasses that enzyme entirely. Your kidneys convert L-citrulline into L-arginine in a sustained, steady manner, which produces a more consistent and longer-lasting elevation of nitric oxide levels. Studies have confirmed that L-citrulline supplementation actually raises blood arginine levels more effectively than taking L-arginine itself. That is not a typo. Taking citrulline gives you more arginine than taking arginine. When you combine that with sublingual delivery, which further bypasses the gut, you get the most efficient nitric oxide support available without a prescription. So here is your simple action plan, and I would encourage you to write this down or take a screenshot right now. Step 1, purchase a high-quality pure L-citrulline powder. Not citrulline malate, which is a different formulation designed for exercise. Pure L-citrulline. Look for third-party tested products with no fillers or artificial additives. Step 2. Every night, 30 minutes before bed, place 3 grams of the powder, which is roughly 1 level teaspoon, under your tongue. Hold it there for 60 to 90 seconds to allow absorption through the sublingual blood vessels. Then swallow the remainder with a full glass of water. Step 3. Give it a minimum of 3 to 4 weeks of consistent nightly use before you evaluate results. Nitric oxide capacity builds over time, and most of my patients report the most noticeable improvements between weeks 3 and 6. That is it. 3 simple steps. 1 powder, 1 time of day. And within a month, you may notice improvements in your energy, your circulation, your mental clarity, your sleep, and yes, your performance in the bedroom. Now I want to speak to you directly for a moment, man to man. If you have been feeling frustrated by the changes in your body, if you have been embarrassed by declining performance, if you have been quietly worried that the vitality you once had is gone for good, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. Your body is not failing you. It is simply producing less of a molecule it needs, and that is something you can support, even at 65, even at 70, even at 75 and beyond. The men I see who do the best are not the ones with perfect genetics or unlimited budgets. They are the ones who refuse to accept decline as inevitable and who take one simple step at a time. You, watching this video right now, that is your first step, and I am proud of you for taking it. If this video gave you hope or taught you something new, hit that like button so other men can find it. Leave a comment below and tell me, have you ever tried L-citrulline, or is this completely new information for you? I genuinely want to know, and I read and respond to as many comments as I can. Share this video with a brother, a friend, a father, anyone you care about who deserves to know that better blood flow and better health are still within reach. And if you have not already, subscribe and tap that notification bell so you never miss my weekly videos on men's health, vitality, and strength after 50. You sharing this could be the reason another man takes his health into his own hands today. I am Dr. Fiona Gray, reminding you that after 50, vitality is not lost. It is waiting to be awakened. Your best chapter is not behind you, gentlemen. It may very well be the one you are about to write. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.